What's up guys, it's Talon here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how you can improve your solo cash cup performance by analyzing how Andilex placed first overall in the most recent EU solo cash cup. But before I get into this VOD review guys, if you do enjoy my content or find what I'm telling you helpful, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. Also, if you wish to support me in another way, use code TALON.FN in the Fortnite item shop, #ad. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. Alright guys, as you can see on the screen we have Andilex's POV. This is going to be an insane amount of consistency, and there's going to be some new moves that I've seen from this professional player right here. So let's just jump in and kind of go over everything. Now landing here early at Steamy, nice little full box. You see the mechanics here on display though, very nice, and with the mobile builds. Good recognition on the break. Good crosshair placement again, recognition, getting that in, and this move right here, you need to add into your repertoire. I have actually not seen anybody do this. I absolutely love it. It's kind of a Martaz ramp combined with the Psycho In or the finisher with the harpoon. It's great. He does it, I believe, twice in this VOD review, but it's incredibly unique and I haven't seen anything like it. So what he does is, again, as you see, is he harpoons in with that kind of forward momentum, and then to make the situation even more worse for the opponent, he does what I like to call Martaz ramp and places his own ramp behind him, basically turning this into a 50-50, and as you can see, the opponent still has his builds out, so it is incredibly hard to counter. And he's going to do this again in endgame. It's a fantastic way. It's one of my favorite things to do when an opponent's ramp is over you and you break it and you push them underneath, because either they come in underneath with you or you can flip the ramp and get a nice little phase shot. I've seen that, but I've never seen it combined with a harpoon. So a very cool move that you can kind of incorporate in your gameplay when you have the harpoon. Again, having a harpoon in solo cash cups for extra mats, you're going to see another big reason why Andilex is successful. Now here, this is a good example of understanding escape route. And what ends up happening is that opponent is very low ping, but his escape route kind of allowed him back off. He just fried that guy. 5 kills. Good drop down. Now before he pushes up, what does he do? He sits there, waits back, and then he goes for the wall. Fantastic. Takes it first try. It's a good understanding of why reload management is important. Now he cuts this opponent off here smartly. Opponent's just very lost. I don't know if he had no idea what to do, but look at that refresh, gets cap metal. With 7 kills, no pad, it's kind of hard to believe. 2. Game is very, very good from Andilex in terms of just consistent amount of placement. He kind of, I like the layer switch. Now notice he has 700 mats, doesn't really force anything. Look, he's not even interested in getting any type of engagement. Anyone who comes near him, he's going away from. He creates 2, this is something you see so common too. When you get into zone, in these moving zones, creating 2 boxes of space. It gives you more angles for picks, and just in case someone psychos in your box, you have more ways to escape. A nice conserve tarp here early. Now we gotta be thinking refresh here, right? Like 300-ish builds. And so he gets ahead and he's looking back for any pick opportunities. There's possibly a pick opportunity, gets some good damage, and you see that harpoon coming out. He also can play floppers because he has 2 slurp. And he makes a delayed high take. And this is such good. He doesn't even fight for it because he knows he doesn't have the mats. He just kind of griefs height for maybe later on in case he gets a refresh. I want to talk about this too. This little shot you may think is so insignificant. But really, how many times are you falling down when you're low mats or no mats in endgame? And you just get fried in the back, right? So one, look at his builds, 21. He's just chopping out to chop height because it's easy. He protects himself and then he realizes, I probably don't want to take it. But this right here, he knows someone's in there. You could see the open edit right there. And what does he do? He turns around, he goes, okay, so you don't shoot me in the back. I'm going to crack you for 90 so I can fall. And then he doesn't have to worry about covering his head as much. He gets basically into the edge zone, and then he's looking for a refresh, right? 80 builds, so 8 builds to play with. So this is a good time to go for a refresh. And look at that, one just kind of falls right into his lap. A decent amount of builds, he gets about 300, so significantly better. Good job of covering himself and then conserve tarping ahead. And now this is something, again, this Andilex VOD review was very, very different. I really enjoyed this. But I've never seen someone take a car and just yeet someone in endgame, especially in 8th zone. Oh, that was so different. And intelligent. It gives them, you know, to save some mats. And then we're going to see this move on top of that. What an absolutely unique clip. Just one with the car. Like, you don't get that opportunity so rare in itself where zone comes to a point where you can use a car. And look, he just hops in. He's going to yeet this guy into infinity. And then he's going to do that Martaz ramp move. He hits him for 40-ish white. That car does 110 damage, by the way. And this is a good understanding too. Look, he's got like 200 builds. He can force, this player's probably shambles, building out of wood in 8th. And he's just going to go in and do that exact same thing. He's going to get up, create kind of a Metro Classic situation. Harpoons, opponent's taking a big pot. He places his own ramp and look, the opponent just scuffs his switch from big pot back to shotgun. What can he do? And a huge elimination. One of the most unique things, again, I've seen in a VOD review, just accompanying the rare fact with a car hit. What an absolutely intelligent play. You can see the awareness on display here. Now then again, we get a refresh, so what do? We look for height if we can, 93. We get a full piece. Opponent actually gets out with a good ramp flip, but we've got high ground. This is exactly what we want. And again, we get that refresh, what do? We look for height, especially in night zone, with it being that shallow, it's such a good opportunity. And then good recognition right here too. When opponents are in that reboot van space, they can't build. Just don't even worry about it. One, you're on high ground pressuring, but just make sure you have good aim. You're going to get a free kill there. They can't protect themselves. And then the Harpoon coming in to get the refreshes of mats. Again, the Harpoon is so versatile. Back when there wasn't as much movement, it was one of the meta winners. And then same thing here. Oh, almost gets that. The opponent actually ends up killing that opponent in there. Now he's hit 39 white twice. And he does have the mythic burst. Now this is again realizing one with the cone not being placed on that wood build, that second burst will get in almost all the time. That was one of the best things about the burst. So good recognition there. Fantastic early game one. Significant amount of kills. Now this opponent just drops down. This is again a minor thing, but I just want to talk about again escape route. Always have a way to escape. Look at that. That's a way to escape. Now that opponent's essentially full piece. And then he drops down, takes a 50-50. That's confidence in your aim, and you're fighting a lever, so you're super confident in that situation with the opponent. And we jump in right into the stacked end game, 700 damage above due to that elimination. Now, maybe need to hit the Vax a little bit right there. We launch pad. We're not great. We're 500. But we're kind of gifted high ground here. Just with a good launch pad. And then it's just basically kind of grief anybody before. Now, there's a lot of people still looking for height, and he goes for constant chops. Andilex is probably thinking that someone is going to continue to focus height. Why even bother focusing, wasting ammo on someone? Now, this opponent does a great height play. Now, this almost works. And I think it got chopped out, but that's the one thing you had to be worried about was the height play. And I think what ends up happening here is he gets chopped out. So he edits it down. Yeah, he actually caused that. He edited his own self down. So what ends up happening, he tries to build a wall. Can't build it, as you can see. And then as they both fall, he gets cracked. Again, unfortunate timing with that launch pad. But, you know, that's just sometimes the way the cookie crumbles. With him being on height there, I don't think he was able to hold it. He was getting looked at pretty early. Maybe just a mistake to go for height with that amount of mats that early. But it's okay. Go again, right? Still had a good couple of games. Now this guy makes such a good play. And you're going to see the... Why? So I don't know why you take this peek. One, you know that he's not underneath the ramp. But this is a left-hand peek for you, right? Look how difficult this angle would be anyways, because it's left hand. But the other thing is he double swings the wood. The opponent times it perfectly, hits a good crack shot. And now you're kind of in a scuffed area. This opponent makes a great read on where Andilex is, but he hits a huge shot.
Oh, let's go! Oh.
He doesn't even believe it. As you can hear him go, oh, let's go. That's such a good recovery with good crosshair placement, but just a mistake at the beginning, right? This guy won the Cash Cup and still made a mistake. Obviously something that you probably don't want to do. Double swing on a left-hand peek, right? You can recover from mistakes.
Oh, le comeback.
Does a great job there. This is good recognition now. He goes in there. Obviously, he hears the shield is cracked. He gets the wall instantly. It just places the cone, finishes the fight. Not much to say there. But good recognition. Now 3-4-3, really good. Loadout going into 5th. Now this guy has negative awareness. Absolute negative awareness. And look at that stack. He gets 2 pads, chili chug splashes. If you can do that, you might as well. And again, with these chili chugs, you can go from back to front. He gets on a nice area of elevation, so it'll be interesting to see whether he uses the chili chug splash or he decides to pad. And he's not going to waste the chili chug splash, so he's just going to decide to take it and go, which he can. And he can get from back to front very quickly. And yeah, it was really unfortunate. And again, as I can see, same thing that I talked about earlier. What happens when you get into zone and moving? Double box for space. Now, that was a little bit scuffed, but fortunately, he didn't really get caught up with anything. Now, someone just flies into his box. He goes for it. He basically gets a free refresh out of nowhere. Not a lot of math, though. He was already pretty set. And then he kind of gets away from all that congestion when I like. Use that extra max he just got to kind of get away from the congestion. Now he's got a far pull. And this makes sense right here to launch pad. Mark zone, a minor thing. A minor thing that I don't see a lot of players do. But this is something that's just a good visual cue to understand where you need to go. Like there's a big blue dot, a big blue arc that kind of guides you. If things are getting chaotic, if you just find yourself a lot of the time going left to right and just not really having any purpose, or you're just so panicked about getting to zone, one, it'll prevent you from burning a significant amount of mats. Let's say, you know, you're already on dead side, but you're not paying attention, you go right because you don't know where exactly zone is, or you maybe got cracked for 100 and you don't know which direction to go, and oh my god, you've tarped and stormed and now you're panicking. You know what I'm saying? So just a small little minor thing that you can do. Lands on a higher layer, he's going to go for height. And he's essentially giving it right there when that opponent pads. Crack shield. Someone again comes for it, takes it from him. And again, just doesn't want to hold it. He can take that later with that amount of mats, and he has chili chug splashes. And as you see, he doesn't give it up fully. He's going to be able to outbuild this opponent, right? Because he's on the chili chug splash. And all it's done is now is reconnected his high ground and made it so much more stronger. So he's not going to have to worry as much this particular match about getting shot out. And look at all of the, again, layers below him. And he sees basically anybody, he's just going to try and fry. Now the opponent launch pads right here, obviously not a height play, because you see him dive down below. And very good reconnect. Now you have to be a little bit concerned just being in wood at this stage. And still with a good amount of players left. Good aim. Easy pickup. He's again building over other opponents' builds so he doesn't die to fall damage. And then a good reconnect. Nice. Kind of staves off a little miniature height take or someone looking for height, and then he immediately pressures him off. He gets a fortunate pullback too. That's going to even be great. That's why height can be so useful. If you get that north-south pull, you go this way and get to go back, you can make 6 builds work staying up. And that's you're going to see exactly what he does. Now you see someone trying to push up. Oh, fantastic read. 100. Now he's going to kind of go for a chop. He's going to get a little bit of shield off him. Now only 2 builds to work with. Then he realizes, oh, can't go for it. So he just drops all the way down. Now this is kind of where you get into the situation of, I gotta wait for things to kind of open up for me. He gets into an old tarp, which is definitely the best play. And it sounds like almost everyone except for that player above him is on high ground. And he's in a great spot. Just notice how everyone was underneath except for that top player. And all of these people are underneath. So now he has a natural choke. So he should guaranteed second at this point. This player down here is in such a horrible spot. And that's exactly what ends up happening. And that's just good position. He gives up height. Yeah, but it was worth it for those 5 extra points that he got from going from 6th to 5th. Or sorry, 4 extra points from 5th. You get one every time past 5th place. And so now he's fighting, again, the person that originally took height from him. Now, doesn't have a significant amount. Oh, he has 600 builds, so maybe he can PG for it. Gets a good refresh on that guy down low. The winner of all the suffocating choke points. Now, the opponent, you may or not have whites or not, and so he decides to PG for it. Doesn't cover off his angle right there, takes a little bit of it. And the opponent actually hits a great shot. Ends the fight, gets second. Could have maybe played it a little bit slower, maybe gone for the... He had no white heals, right? So you have to assume at that point, if you have 0 whites, you have to assume that your opponent has 4 floppers. You have to go for it. He had the mats to go for it, just not enough protection on that high ground retake. Gets him taken out, and the opponent then reads what he does after he gets cracked for a little bit. On to the next game, though. And like I said, it's incredibly consistent. I believe he gets like 3 or 4 seconds in a first. And then here, we're just picking up right into endgame. One of the best things you can do... Now, that's so unfortunate right there that he doesn't get that pickup, but he's going to do this constantly throughout this particular game, is he is going to come from underneath opponents and trap them with a cone. Either it's going to trap him underneath. It is one of the hardest situations to get out of. I don't know if that guy was on Peppers or just got incredibly lucky that he got away with Andilex just missing the shot. But coming underneath opponents is going to be something you need to be doing constantly. Good recognition. The opponent's smacking something. Now he's going in here constantly, and I believe he's going to get him again pretty soon. I don't remember exactly with the exact same type deal. Now you got to be very confident with blue pump fighting. Pump, but eventually has to pad, give it up. Now this isn't a good situation in terms of mats. He cones him off, but he doesn't go for it. I was a little bit surprised. I don't know if he maybe saw something I didn't there where he didn't get that off, but he only has 300 builds. He gets cracked for 100. But he does get in. Now his opponent just jumps in. And then you're going to see him do it again. The people are so slippery. That's really unfortunate that twice that went down like that. He catches him again. I think every time that it's happened, the reason why it hasn't been successful, he's been fighting people on chili chugs. Which again, there's nothing you do. Fantastic, times that beautifully. Good recognition that the wall is what other play does he have? There's 20-ish people alive. He has barely any mats. He doesn't have any other play. Like your initial jerk reaction would be like, wow, that's so brain dead. It's like I do that in endgame and die all the time. It's like you have to weigh the fact that you're not going to survive this rotate more than likely without some sort of either you find chili chugs or you find a pepper or you hit a pad or you get an impact. And look, 47. That's good enough for one wall. The opponent's caught napping. And then great job. That's going to be a huge pickup. He gets floppers. Look at the mats. 3-3-3. He can make that work. That play is what I believe wins him this entire cash cup, in my opinion. Because he's going to go from basically being shambles to getting second or first in this particular match. Off of that, just recognition. 500 builds to play with. 3 flops. And he's on such a good side of zone. There's barely any congestion where he's at. And then he's going to take low. Which with his mats, he can make work. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't get this pickup here. But he is going to get another one. As everyone who's kind of shambles falling to low. Low can be your best friend if you have mats. You can make that work against players that don't. I think another person in a car in 8th zone. Fantastic. Doesn't go for it. Right there. Maybe had an urge. Look, he just claims low. Everything's mine on low. I want everything. Puts back. That gets stolen from him. It's a little bit unfortunate. He still has about 18 builds to work with. Not going to make a full knife. Now, great job. This is what, right here. This is just like Trio's bread and butter, but he's even using it in solos because this is cutting off your opponent. Now, I don't have a lot of mats. I need a refresh. What am I going to do? My opponent's on the same layer as me. I'm not going to spray him out. I'm going to try and cut him off. I did. I just missed the edit. Unfortunate, right? It just misses the edit there, but that's the right decision. And then he just cuts off for further, make that opponent have to go somewhere else. And then look, he just, again, continues to cut off. Now, doesn't have anything really to work with here. 2 builds. Sitting here on a right-hand peak. Hopefully someone comes down. Hits that opponent for white. Opponent just psychos in, and this is where the floppers come in. Gets 100 crack on that opponent. Gets mats. Now he's going to sit here and wait, take the flopper, and then what's going to happen? He's going to sit here, take minis, take the flopper. Opponent's just going to die. And look at that. We're now in a 1v1 situation. We go for an all or nothing shot. And I'm telling you, that impact with that wall wins him this particular solo cash game. It made him have 900 plus mats. It gave him the floppers that allowed him to survive at the end. He extended everything well. He was on dead side. Then he just claimed low. A good few attempts at getting refreshes didn't end up working out, but still playing his floppers and maximizing his loadout, using his literal last build to get this shot off and then win the game. An incredible performance, and again, all stemming from recognition of that wall was just one tap, and he just caught him napping, and he got the most important refresh. Let's get into the next game, though. Game number 7. We sit here and again in another stack situation, and look, Chili chugs, so we're going to be fairly confident on being able to get from back to front. And notice you get a shield crack there, and we still don't force anything. We use our wood, and then we get in and building hard. He's looking up. Now he's looking for maybe a potential. Now notice, did you hear that wall get hit? And he immediately goes to check and make sure that it's not his. Again, a minor thing, right? But just good audio cue can help you out. Good endgame awareness can help you out. He sees all the chaos going off in front of him, and now the wall is weak. He takes it one tap and he's going to get 2 bodies out of that, essentially. And look at that. 2, 4, 5. Chili chug splash. And then I can go from back to front again. I'm going to conserve tarp. I'm fast as it gets, and now I have a lot of mats. I'm going to claim a nice clean layer for myself. I'm going to grief height just for fun. Now this could be a little bit problematic. You could get a little bit tunnel vision of people rotating in. And so what does he do? He goes for height. That was his play all along. On the chili chug splash, and it's the same thing. I get a huge refresh. I go up, I look for height, I spray out height, I grief height, I go up on my chili chug splash. No one's going to be able to outbuild me. I'm on a speed boost advantage. And there you go. I hides one tap. Now he gets chopped out. Good shield crack on the opponent on back. And we're trying to extend this out. So anyone that we see, we're spraying out. And as you can see, someone shoots out, but we have good awareness. We reconnect. Still 500 mats, so we're able to connect. Now, I don't know how he falls here, but again, with Chili Chug, could be able to hold it. But with 26 builds, does he want to? Nope. And so he just goes from back to front. Now, this could have been so much worse. He tries to cut him off, doesn't get it, but gets in. 200 builds to work at. Now this is just such good mechanics and recovery. And then uses that last chili chug. He's in such a horrible lair. And again, with that chili chug, he's able to tank a little bit of zone. Get to a little bit safer portion of the map. Someone's on his wall. Now the mechanics to get up and out of this are actually insane. Does a fantastic job of getting out of that. He's gonna then pop a big. Man, and that chili chug splash, that's sometimes what it can do for you. Crack shield 90. It's an impact right there. Drop to get what little mats he can. And then claim low. And you're seeing the importance of the chili chug splash. Again, it just allows him to get ahead, claim low, just get out of super sticky situations. Crack shield. A little bit scuffed mechanically. I cut off. Okay. Oh, look, it's a flopper. And look, I can still get ahead. No one has the time to react and edit on me down. I've now milked this into a top 5. I can take zone for a smidgen. So I have a flopper. Opponent just drops down. Fantastic etiquette in this situation. This is one of the best edits that you can do in this situation. It's this kind of side ramp edit, and what I'm talking about, as you're going to see here, is when you do this edit, what it's going to allow you to do is have coverage to the head and put you in advantage if you hit a good body shot, especially in Storm. One, it kind of places the ramp on the opponent's head, but it just gives you that visual advantage, as you're going to see here. We're just going to kind of, when the opponent just jumps in cyclically. Now that's just good recognition. He was going to tank anyway because of flopper, but this opponent's also just looking for a play. We miss, but we smartly just what we do. Now look, you see how it gives you that face protection, and then he hits it for 60. The opponent places his own ramp, but it's too late, right? And so we get an important, again, top 5 elimination. We get Siphon and Storm, and then we can then use our flopper and hopefully just milk out a second or a third, or maybe even lucky enough to get a first. We've already milked out a third. We cut off all the space that we can. We're getting pressured from height, and so this is the worst situation. 40 with the shot right there, and the opponent does a good job of coming back, creating an angle, and get a finish. Overall, a significantly great VOD review. I really enjoyed watching some of the next level strats, especially with that harpoon. I loved to see the awareness, constantly thinking of anything that can happen. The mechanics on display, not really in the keying sense, but really in the ability to get out of some absolutely horrendous situations. Overall, a very impressive VOD review from Andilex, and that is why he won the Solo Cash Cup. Well guys, that is going to do it for today's VOD review. I hope that you did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. And I hope I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.